All right, we are live. How's everyone doing tonight? Good evening, blessed hope. We're going to be talking about the Baltimore Bridge tonight. And I'm going to be talking about why I believe this is a Black Swan event and why we need to take this a little more seriously. Happy Resurrection Day. Yes, for sure. Hope you guys had a good day today. Went to church, had fun today. It was a full house today. I don't know how many people we had. If I were to guess, I would say close to 1,000 people today. We had 2 services and they were full. How do I know? Well, I'm on the parking committee, so we had to park the cars. Just makes it a little bit easier. It's getting crazy. Welcome to Black Swan Revelations. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Baltimore Bridge. What we're going to do is we're going to revisit the scene of the crime. And hey, Cheryl, and what we're going to do is we're going to ask you guys to get out your stopwatch because we're going to watch the bridge collapse. It's a 7-minute video. We're going to watch it. We're going to pay attention to what's going on. We're going to pay attention to the traffic above the bridge. And then what we're going to do is we're going to also review some footage of crossing over the bridge. And we're also going to review some audio tape. We're going to show, what is it? Basically, police chatter, if you will, just before the bridge collapses. And we're going to see if this lines up with what was actually going on, because I think the timing is off. There's something wrong with the calculation. I don't think anyone on the bridge had any idea what was going on. And I also don't think traffic was stopped in time. I just don't think there was enough time. I really don't. According to what they've sent us, as in the public, it's out in the public domain, and we're going to look at it. We're going to look at the police radio. We're going to listen to it. We're going to watch the bridge accident, and then we're going to watch it, how long it takes to actually go across the bridge. Are there still people on the ship, like as in right now today? I don't think so. I think the crew, there was about 21 crew. That's 21 people. I don't know where they are right now, if they're in custody or where they're at. Let's see. Did you hear that CERN is going to power their machine the very moment the eclipse happens? What do you mean by CERN? CERN. What does that mean? It's kind of interesting what's going on here. And we're so close to this solar eclipse too. Like, we haven't even talked about the Madrid fault. We haven't even talked about the Appalachian Mountains, which are, I believe, I'd have to double check, but I thought they're like off the coast or on the edge of Maryland, I believe. Fire missiles. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's AI, like if that's somebody just creating it with ChatGPT or something like that and just adding a voice and all this stuff and animation. I'm not sure. It sounds weird. It sounds bizarre. The urn, the bottomless pit. I don't know. Still on the ship, and there are gas lines under the ship. Yeah, I know they're trying to cut apart the bridge. If I was doing this investigation, I would not be cutting up the bridge just yet. Not yet. It's too early yet, but they're cutting it up. So I hope they have all the documentation they need, because they just had a few guys in there with At the beginning, it looked like they just had inspectors with their cell phones and stuff. And it's kind of weird. I don't know. I think I would have done it earlier. It seemed like it took forever to get people on that ship, and they didn't have masks. They didn't have gloves or anything, and they're you could see chemicals on the floor. Barrels were severed, were open, and it's like these guys they have no fear. Like, they know what all the containers are carrying. Like, they don't know what's in the water. Like, this is so bizarre on so many levels. They're welding, cutting apart the bridge, and yet there could be flammables all over that ship. And I don't know. It's almost like they know what's in the cargo. Do we know what's in the cargo? Like, I know the idea is to gather all the evidence and then take it to a research place and then go lay everything out, all the photos and everything, and document. I thought there would be a record of all this stuff. So, yeah, this is going to take a while, but they're already cutting up the bridge. They're cutting it so that they can get traffic going through, like the cargo ships that are trapped inside Baltimore. I think there's like 4 or 5 ships trapped, and then there's more. Obviously, it's logjam. If you think about it, let's just say you said loosely 10 ships a day. I don't know how many cargo ships go through there, but it's already been almost a week. It's jammed up. You got to reroute them somewhere else. So, yeah, I heard that 3 rockets towards the sun and all this stuff. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think that's a little bit of a distraction. I think probably what would realistically happen is, while everybody's looking up, you can detonate certain areas, fault lines, if you will, or whatever. I'm expecting an earthquake of some kind on April 8th or within a couple of months after that, because that seems to be what happened in when was it, 1811, 1812. After solar eclipse, about 3 months later, there was an earthquake in Madrid, in that area, the fault line. And I forget how many people died, but it affected like 5 surrounding states. And obviously there's more of a population now. And I am a little bit concerned. Sometimes when you make a guess like this, you kind of put your neck on the line, because you could be wrong. And that's, this is a Black Swan Revelations channel where you do take guesses. You make educated guesses, and you look at the data, you look at all the evidence and stuff, and you go, yeah, the US is fragile right now. They are fragile. They're not anti-fragile. I'm actually reading a book right now by Nassim Talib called Anti-Fragile. And if you have a nation that is fragile, one little event or one big event could topple the government, could topple the US economy, and it's very difficult to reverse it. But if it's anti-fragile, that means you can have a bunch of little things go wrong and still be okay. This is a big deal, this Baltimore Bridge. To me, this is a big deal, and we're probably going to get more news, more reports coming down the pipes as to what's really going on, or what they want us to know. But yeah, I'm treating this more of an incident than an accident right now. And it feels like they're rushing to cut this bridge all apart right away. Seems a little quick. What do I know? I'm not a welder. But it seems like this is quick because there's so much stuff on that ship and below the water, and they're just taking apart the bridge. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of bizarre. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to watch the footage, and then we're going to listen to the audio, and we're going to try and time this out and see what's going on here. All right, so let's watch this here. Go back to the bridge. And we're going to pay attention to the traffic. And we're going to pay attention to the time. You see the time up there? It says 1:23. So we're going to watch this here. And I'm going to fast forward it a little bit. So we could see the cargo ship to the left, and this is real time. It's going pretty slow. I can't remember how many knots. It's like 1.5 knots. Key thing to recall is we are at the 23 minute. There's basically 5 minutes left before this bridge collapses. Traffic is going. That tells me there is no indication whatsoever that there is danger. Why? Because we still have vehicles moving over the top of the bridge. There's semis going, and this is real time. What I've done is I've actually calculated how long it takes for a truck going through a construction zone, like what it's doing right now, has to slow down a bit. It takes about 47 seconds to go from basically where you see the edge of the screen on the right to the left side of the screen is about 47 seconds. Once you get to the edge of the screen to the left, you can go back to your regular speed. It takes about 35 seconds to actually clear the bridge because there's still basically a runway that you're still in danger. It's pavement, but you're still in danger for another 35 seconds, and then you're clear. And I'm going to show you the footage. But it's just important to note that it takes about a minute and a half to actually get to the metal part of the bridge on the right side of your screen. And then it takes about 30 to 47 seconds, depending on the speed that you're going. If you're going through a construction zone, you're about 47 seconds. If you're just going normal speed, it takes you 31 seconds to cross from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen. And then you still have another 35 seconds to clear the bridge. And we're going to look at some of that footage. But it's just important to note that there is still traffic going from left to right. Right there, you can see a car, and it's basically we have 3 minutes left before impact for the first contact where the cargo ship Dali actually hits the bridge. So it's still, vehicles are still going to the right. Car's almost done exiting stage right. Now we have a semi on the bridge. And it appears, I think, slowing down a little bit because the other semi there, once it gets to construction zone, it starts to slow down a little bit. You could tell he put on the brakes a bit. Nobody's aware right now of what's going on below them. And I've proven in another video that you actually can't see below the bridge. You can't see what's going on below you. It's almost impossible. And we're going to watch that footage. There's no way anybody knew what was going on this bridge. Lights go out on the Dali. And there's another semi coming. We have 2 minutes left before the bridge collapses. And this semi is still going through. No mayday yet. And I'll prove it. That there was not enough time to clear the bridge. They didn't even warn the construction workers. We're at 1 hour. We're at 1:27 a.m. in the morning. And that semi is now going to the edge of the screen on the left, has about 35 seconds before it actually gets into the safety part. And now we have another vehicle. There's 1 minute, folks. There's 1 minute left before this bridge collapses, and we still have traffic coming onto the bridge. Look at that. Takes about 30 47 seconds to get across from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen, therefore telling me nobody stopped these guys on the right side of the screen, which I believe is the south side, and I believe the left is the north, I believe, going to Baltimore, I believe, unless I got it backwards. So they're clearing right there. It's 1:28:10. They still have 35 seconds before they're in the safety zone. It's 1:28. 1:28. So remember that time. So basically, at the exact time the bridge begins to collapse, and I'm going to pause it when that happens. Right there. First contact with the bridge. Basically, the traffic that was on the left they're clear. They don't know what's going to happen behind them. They have no idea. They just got off the bridge. Totally unaware that the bridge is about to collapse. I am sure of it. They just got off the bridge, and now the bridge is going to collapse with the construction crew on top. And I believe there was 3 vehicles. They had no idea. Zero idea what was going on. Tragic. Okay, so now let's go. Remember that time. Have a look here. Remember the timing that I said when the bridge collapses. So let's just have a look. So right here, if you look at the top, it's 1:28:38. Right there, impact. So 1:28:44. Remember that time, 1:28:44, because now we're going to listen to the police scanner, what they have to say. And notice we have 1 minute and 26 seconds total. So listen to this.
I need one of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching. It just lost their steering.
So about 10 seconds in to this recording, they're saying this bridge has lost power. According to this, you can't pay attention to this animation because it's just showing the path. But listen to the audio. They said the ship just lost power.
So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic. Yeah, I'm en route to the south side. Dispatch direction.
So he's en route to the south side.
On traffic now. I was dragging, but we stopped prior to the bridge, so I'll have all outer loop traffic stopped. 10-4. Is there a crew working on the bridge right now?
So 27 seconds into this, they're asking, is there crew?
Yeah, if we can stop traffic, just make sure no one's on the bridge right now. You might want to.
So make sure no one is on the bridge right now. We just saw that there was a vehicle that went across the bridge with a minute left, 1 minute left of life for the bridge. Like the bridge was about to collapse. So we know there's traffic that got to safety right when the bridge collapsed. They basically got off the bridge as soon as it collapsed. So there was nobody shutting the bridge down yet.
Notify whoever the foreman is, see if we can get them off the bridge.
Okay, so they're saying let's identify the foreman to see if we can get them off the bridge. This is 30 seconds into the conversation. Look at the time above. 01:28:34. You have 10 seconds to block the traffic and to warn the construction workers that the bridge is about to collapse. You have 10 seconds. That's it. They're still asking. Let me back it up. They're still asking if there's construction crew on the bridge.
Traffic. Just make sure no one's on the bridge right now. You might want to notify whoever the foreman is, see if we can get them off the bridge temporarily.
You might want to identify to see who the foreman is and get everyone off the bridge. You have 10 seconds before the bridge is going to collapse. You can't tell me there were cars on both sides of the bridge stopping traffic unless you knew that this bridge was going to get demolished. If that's what you're saying, then there's more to this than meets the eye, because then the police are involved. If they're not there, which I don't think they were there, according to this audio that we're listening to, it's impossible for them to get there unless they cut it all up.
10-4, once the other unit gets here, I'll ride up on the bridge.
So once the other unit gets here, I'll ride up on the bridge and warn them. You have 6 seconds left before the bridge collapses.
All interloop traffic stopped at this time.
All traffic stopped at this time. You just happened to be there at the bridge? Let me back it up a bit.
Traffic stopped at this time. I'll ride up on the bridge. All interloop traffic stopped at this time.
He's like, I will let the construction workers know, and I have all traffic stopped at this time. Well, we know the traffic actually just cleared the bridge on the left-hand side. We just saw that. Let me just back this up a bit here. See, they're not showing us. I don't think they're showing us the vehicle because they put the animation over because it doesn't line up.
You might want to notify whoever the foreman is, see if we can get them off the bridge temporarily. 10-4, once the other unit gets here, I'll ride up on the bridge. All interloop traffic stopped at this time.
To us, it looks like traffic has stopped. But when we look at the time frame, 1:43, we know that a vehicle just left the left side of the screen about 35 seconds ago, and I'll show you again on the other video.
Once you get here, I'll go grab the workers on the key bridge, and then...
So it's starting to go down as he's talking. He's saying, once you get here, meaning you're not here, I'm going to go onto the bridge and grab the construction workers and let them know.
Stop the outer loop.
C-13 dispatch, the whole bridge just fell down.
So 5 seconds after he said, once you get here, I'm going to go onto the bridge, meaning his relief partner isn't there so that they can stop traffic and he can go onto the bridge and tell the construction crew. They had no idea what was going on right now. Or this audio has been falsified and they chopped it up to put it in sync with what's going on here.
Stars, whoever, everybody. The whole bridge
Stars, whoever, everybody.
just collapsed.
Simple dispatch is direct. That's correct. Do we know if all traffic was stopped? I can't get to the other side, sir.
I can't get to the other side. So they don't even know if traffic has been stopped.
The bridge is down. We're going to have to get somebody on the other side of the Anne Arundel County MSP to get up here and stop traffic coming northbound on the T Bridge.
C-13, I'm holding all traffic northbound.
Sure you are. Okay. So again, at 44, let's go back. Let's go back to this footage here. Let's go back to this. Let me share this tab now. I know, it's crazy, right? Okay, let's go back. And I'm going to get rid of my video because I don't want to block this here. So let me just get rid of this here. There we go. Let's go back up a little bit to where we see traffic. See this? There's traffic on the bridge right now. Remember, at 28:44 is when the bridge collapses. That's about when the guy said, as soon as you get here, I am going to go onto the bridge to tell the construction crew to get off the bridge. That's not a lot of time at all. So right now, the traffic that just left the bridge on the left side, they are almost safe. In about 10 seconds, they'll be safely off the bridge. And I'm going to show you this in the other footage. So at 28:44, officer says, I am Go as soon as you get here, I'm going to go get the construction crew and I'm going to tell them to get off the bridge. Roger. And then somebody comes in and says, uh-oh, the whole bridge is down. We need stars or whoever. That's what happened. So now let's go over to this footage right here where we can actually start timing things here. So let's go to right here. So if you think about it, we're going to start the clock right here. Boom. So this takes about 31 seconds to clear this part, the metal part of the bridge. And you can't see anything below you. This is where the construction crew was, right here. Can you see anything below you? No. Now you got 35 seconds to clear before this bridge is collapsing. To me, this is the safest part. Now, I understand that the bridge just immediately behind them did not collapse, but there is no water under this area. So this is the safety zone. That took 35 seconds to get off of the bridge. So if you're telling me traffic was stopped, this was the last vehicle that came off the bridge, and that's when the bridge collapsed. Right when they got here, they would have had no idea looking behind them. Like, most likely they were not looking behind them at all. They were just going on to their business. Maybe they would have saw some cops just starting to pull up, don't know. But they would have not known that the bridge behind them had collapsed. There's no way you can tell. There's no way. And they were, coincidentally, they were safe off the bridge. They don't know how close to death they were. So this police report does not add up at all. It doesn't make any sense. It just makes the police look incompetent. My humble opinion. Doesn't add up. It's really, you have only maybe 10 seconds. Maybe 10 seconds, because we just heard the audio report that one officer was saying, I will go and get the construction crew. And right when he was done saying that, another guy pipes in and says, the bridge is collapsed. The entire bridge is collapsed. That tells me he did not have his sector controlled. That also tells me the other side did not have it, because we have evidence of that. We just watched traffic getting off the bridge. So if you just watch the traffic getting off that bridge, does that not say that there was no control over this bridge yet? So I'm not sure why they released the audio, because the audio does not line up with what actually happened on the bridge. And they didn't show you the bridge. They didn't show the traffic on the bridge. Instead, they showed you the piece that you could listen to saying, we got the bridge secure, when they didn't have the bridge secure, because 35 seconds before that, we have a vehicle still on the bridge. And when they're trying to secure the side where the construction workers are on, the officer's saying, as soon as you get here, I will go and I will get the construction crew off. And after he's done saying that, someone pipes in and says, the bridge is down. So let's go back to listen to the audio again. It's only 90 seconds.
I need one of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching that just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic.
Yeah, I'm en route to the south side.
So he's en route to the south side. He's en route to the south side. He's not there yet.
Just about to start.
I'm holding traffic now. I was dragging, but we stopped prior to the bridge.
We are holding traffic now. Is there CC? No, they turn off closed captioning. Can't put it on because that would be better to hear it.
Holding traffic now. I was dragging, but we stopped prior to the bridge.
I was driving, but we stopped prior to the bridge. Okay, so you're stopped, but traffic's still on the bridge.
So I'll have all out-of-loop traffic stopped.
10-4, is there a crew working on the bridge right now? Yeah, if we can stop traffic.
So he's asking, is there a crew on board on the bridge? Is there a crew on board? That's interesting to say that. Why would you ask that question unless you know? It's a weird thing to ask. I would be like, is there anyone working on the bridge? Is there anyone on the bridge? But they said, is there a crew on the bridge? And they didn't answer the question.
Just make sure no one's on the bridge right now. You might want to notify whoever the foreman is, see if we can get them off the bridge temporarily.
So you might want to inform the foreman of the bridge so that we can get them off the bridge temporarily. Look at this, 1:28:35. You have 9 seconds to get them off the bridge, and you haven't even secured your side of the bridge yet.
10-4, once the other unit gets here, I'll ride up on the bridge. I have all interloop traffic stopped at this time. Once you get here, I'll go grab the workers on the Key Bridge and then stop the outer loop.
They're not.
13 dispatch. The whole bridge just fell down.
This doesn't match up at all. This doesn't line up. The guy that just called in and said the whole bridge is down, I believe that's the accurate, but the other stuff does not match up because the bridge had traffic on it. They're just trying to clear themselves up. They're trying to pretend that they were there instantaneously. I've never seen cops show up in 5 seconds. There's no way. And they're admitting that they haven't secured the bridge. They just admitted it on both sides. They're like, yeah, I'm just driving and yeah, we just stopped traffic. We saw traffic going by, so they didn't stop it. We know the construction crew did not get any warning, so I don't know why this is out there for public to scrutinize, because now the police are involved on this, and it doesn't look good for the Baltimore police. It looks horrible. This looks like a planned event. This is why I say this is a Black Swan event. Crazy, right? This needs to be investigated on every level. Like this is, I feel like I'm the only one that's noticing this, that this is highly suspicious here. And it doesn't matter what they say or put on it, it gets worse for them. It gets worse. There's so many things that went wrong. And now the police are saying that they had the bridge secure when we just watched the footage, the complete unedited footage, showcasing that they did not have the bridge under control at all. They didn't warn the construction workers. Nothing. Crazy, right? It's just bizarre. We haven't even talked about what other stuff is going on right now. The elections were supposed to have happened in Ukraine. I called this since last year, saying that there will not be any elections because of martial law, because President Zelensky is allowed to renew martial law every 90 days. And I think I even made a video about it, just saying, like, no, it's not going to happen. They're not going to have an election. Zelensky dissolved a couple of the main political parties that were leaning towards Russia. And today was supposed to be the day of voting. He said today is not a good day to vote because we're at war, martial law. So this is another one of my predictions. I think the United States is going to go into martial law in the fall, in November, during the elections. This is going to start a ripple effect, this Baltimore Bridge. And probably the solar eclipse is going to cause something as well, whether that's an earthquake along the Madrid fault line. Don't know. If that happens, man, the U.S. is vulnerable right now. I don't think they realize how vulnerable they are. We're vulnerable as well. We know that, though. I don't know if the U.S. does, because if you guys have one more thing, one more catastrophe, man, oh man. Hey, sis. It's crazy. All you need is one more, and you guys could be in a civil war before you know it. It wouldn't take very much to push. Everyone's on edge already. And I think something like this eclipse could do something like that. A lot of people are saying rapture, possible, but I think there also has to be a time where there is peace everywhere, then sudden destruction. So this could be a precursor to the U.S. having to clean up a bunch of stuff, reorganize, whatever it is. I'm just saying, just watch the press reports over the next few weeks. Just watch, and you'll see that they're going to be putting out new videos, new reports, and there's going to be a major logjam with this Baltimore. This is not a major port. My understanding is like the top 15 of all the ports. Some people say top 5. It's crazy, right? There's like $90 million, I think, to build this bridge, rebuild it, something like that. Maybe it's a little bit more. Man, oh man. Crazy stuff. And Americans had a bridge go down. When was it? 1980? I forget where that was. It's a big story on it. It's like 43 years ago or something. A bridge went down. Same thing. Cargo ship hit the bridge. 36 people died. A bus went down. A car went down. They plunged like 150 feet or something into the water. And it's the same thing. Cargo ship hit it. And then now, because of that incident, they put dolphins barriers to all the bridges, but not Baltimore for some reason. Don't know why. It's a mystery to me. It's a huge mystery why they don't have tugboats and barriers to protect the bridge. I don't blame the bridge at all because it's like 95,000 tons or something like that on the ship, or how much the ship weighs. Of course that bridge is going to collapse with that much power behind the bridge, behind the cargo ship. I don't fault the engineers at all. It's not the engineers. No, I didn't know what Biden's doing today. Trans Recognition Day today. Yeah, that's Americans are in trouble, and I think Canadians are too. I think we're not anything better. But with this NASA thing firing 3 rockets, that's kind of bizarre. It's bizarre because my understanding is all the contracts went over to Elon Musk, at least according to his autobiography. Basically, he made a deal with NASA that he got all the rights to continue with the space mission, and instead of going to the moon, he wanted to go to Mars for some reason. Wants to live on Mars. He doesn't personally, but he wants us to live on Mars and be underground for, I think you have to be underground for at least 30 years before you can begin to think about the idea of having oxygen in certain parts of Mars. Not to mention there's no water. That could be a problem. No oxygen, no water, going to Mars, one-way ticket, living underground for at least a generation, maybe 2. I don't see any problem with that. Sign me up. I'm ready to go. Send me to Mars. That sounds like a great deal. Or I can go to Hawaii or Mexico and hang out on the beach for a couple weeks and relax and read a book. Or I can go to Mars, one-way ticket, not guaranteed the ship will make it there. And you have to live underground. And there's no oxygen. We have to make our own. And you have to eat manure or whatever it is forever. Whatever diet. Tang, maybe. You have to eat tang on Mars and live underground for like 30, 40 years before you could even get a sniff of maybe getting a chance to live above surface. That sounds fantastic. I'm all in. Sign me up, Elon. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, it's just bizarre what's going on right now in the US with that. It's kind of interesting that all this stuff seems to be coming out all at once, and we're just getting near the solar eclipse. And we had Easter today. Like, so many things going on. But that police audio does not line up at all. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going by that, then that means they didn't warn the workers. If that's their best audio footage, they should not have released that to the public because I could tear it apart instantly. Could run circles around it. It doesn't line up. It just makes them incompetent. And I feel for the people in Maryland right now, in Baltimore. I feel for you. Your economy is not the best, not the greatest. People are leaving Baltimore. It's just kind of bizarre that this is happening now. It's very bizarre. I don't think Baltimore needed this kind of publicity. And it's a bad look for the police in Baltimore. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. Let's have a look again at going over the Francis Scott Key Bridge. We're going to have a look at it. And then we're going to listen to the audio again. So here we go. And tell me if you could see. Unless you're a semi on the outside, you can't see what's below you. You have no idea that this bridge is about to collapse. No idea. It's like you're going on a roller coaster here. There's no way you can see what's below you. Now that you think about it, it does seem a little weird that the bridge would collapse over here. Like, it's kind of bizarre. Like, it looks pretty structurally sound just looking at it. And this is where the construction crew would have been, somewhere around here, because that's where you can see the metal bridge collapse. And now you have, from here, you have about 35 seconds to get off of this part because you're still over the water. That's why I say this is not safe yet. You're not out of the woods yet. There, right here, I'd say you're safe now because you're off the bridge. And now if we go back to the audio, listen to these guys.
I need one of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching. It just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic. Yeah.
So they're telling them that they got to stop all traffic. So you basically have 40 seconds. Think about it. Traffic is not stopped yet. You have 40 seconds before the bridge collapses. 40 seconds. So this is not lining up at all. I don't know why the police sent this out, the Maryland police, because this is not a good look for them. We're at the 13-second mark here.
I'm en route to the south side. Is this supposed to start?
He's en route to the south side. I'm thinking on the bottom portion is the south side because it seems like the top right is the north.
I'm holding traffic now.
I'm holding traffic now. So I'm heading to go and control on the south side, and I'm now holding traffic in like a second because I was driving. That's what he just said. So they're editing this, or they're not telling the truth.
Dispatch start.
I'm holding traffic now. I was driving, but we stopped prior to the bridge, so I'll have all outer loop traffic stopped.
10-4. Is there a crew working on the bridge right now? Yeah, if we can stop traffic, just make sure no one's on the bridge right now. You might want to notify whoever the foreman.
Sounds so bizarre. That's a weird thing to say. Is there anyone on the bridge? Is there construction on the bridge? Yeah. We'll have all, what does he say? Like, this is so bizarre to say this.
Bridge, so I'll have all out
Back.
Just outside. Dispatch start.
I'm holding traffic now. I was driving, but we stopped prior to the bridge, so I'll have all outer loop traffic stopped.
10-4. Is there a crew working on the bridge
10-4, is there a crew working on the bridge?
right now? Yeah, if we can stop traffic,
Yeah, if we could stop traffic. Didn't answer the question.
just make sure no one's on the bridge
Just make sure no one's on the bridge. This sounds like a fake recording to me. Like they're just making this stuff up to make us feel better.
right now. You might want to notify whoever the foreman is. See if we
You might want to identify whoever the foreman is, because he has 10 seconds to get off the bridge.
can get them off the bridge temporarily.
10-4. Once the other unit gets here, I'll ride up on the bridge. I have
So once the other unit gets here, I'll ride up on the bridge.
all inner loop.
You now have basically 4 seconds.
Traffic stopped at this time. Once you get here, I'll go grab the
Once you get here, I will go grab the most likely the construction crew. They didn't know what was going to happen. As in, the construction crew had no idea. They were not warned.
workers on the key bridge and then stop the outer loop. C-13 dispatch. The whole bridge just fell down. Start is whoever, everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed.
Stars, everybody. What a weird thing to say. The stars, the everybody. Are these guys professionals? What is going on here?
Simple dispatch is direct.
That's correct.
Do we know if all traffic was stopped?
I can't get to the other side, sir.
I can't get to the other side.
The bridge is down. We're going to have to get somebody on the other side, the Anne Arundel County MSP, to get up here and stop traffic coming northbound on the T Bridge. C-13, I'm holding all traffic.
T13, apparently you're not. All right. It's just frustrating. That's frustrating stuff. Frustrating to listen to because it doesn't add up at all. It's mind altering. Yeah, it looks like I don't know what's going to happen the next couple of days with regards to the news. Just seems kind of weird that they're already taking the bridge apart and all this kind of stuff, but the audio does not match up with what's happening on the bridge. It doesn't. It looks like it's cut. It sounds like it's cut. It's spliced together. They're saying they're holding traffic, but they didn't hold it. We saw in the original footage that there was still traffic, and basically 35 seconds after the traffic clears the metal part of the bridge to the left side of the screen, the bridge collapses. So that vehicle was going across the bridge while these guys are saying they've secured it, meaning they're not even there. It's impossible for them to be there when they got dispatched to go. You got to travel distance. They didn't travel. They're just making up stuff saying, we're here, we're controlling traffic as a semi goes across the bridge. Is there anyone on the bridge? They don't even answer each other's question. And then after the bridge is, or when the bridge is about to collapse, then they're like, oh, we need to, as soon as you get here, I'm going to go and get the construction workers. Oh, really? The next thing we hear is the guy saying, we need stars. We need everyone, everything. Something's not right. It's not adding up. No matter how you look at this, this is a Black Swan event. What is the criteria for a Black Swan event? Well, you have to have something that is highly improbable. I don't think anybody saw this coming. The Baltimore Bridge going down, and it has to change the economy overnight. Just wait till tomorrow. You don't think this is going to affect the economy? There's going to be a logjam. And you think the other bridges are safe now? And you're going to send all resources? He was saying, let's start, as in, let's start, everyone. Let's start what? Let's start controlling the traffic? It didn't sound like they're in control of the traffic because they didn't know if there's a crew on the bridge. They weren't 100%. I can play it again. Let's start, everyone, resources. Oh, I see. Let's start, not stars. Maybe there is no stars in the United States. In Calgary, we have stars, which is Stars Ambulance, which means when you radio in for a Stars Ambulance, they go to any emergency. It could be a skiing accident. It could be something that's really bad traffic. So maybe that's what I heard is I thought he said stars, but you're saying start. So let's start the resources. Makes sense. Let's bring the fire engines, emergency crew. Everybody has to come to this place. Makes sense to me. It just sounded kind of, I don't know, like obviously it's catastrophic in nature. Do you guys have Stars Ambulance in America, or is that a Canadian thing? I don't even know. I just assumed that Americans have Stars Ambulance. Those things are fantastic. They're worth their weight in gold. It's just suspicious on every level. And it's like they just wipe it under the bridge. No pun intended. It's like let's just look the other way. Nothing to see here, folks. This is just an accident, not an incident. This is not a terrorist attack. Usually when you say that within the first 5 seconds before you've investigated it, how would Biden know within minutes of this thing going on that you know it's not a terrorist attack? How do you know that? They couldn't even radio the construction crew to let them know their lives are in danger. It's imminent that their lives are going to end. Like I would be suing the cargo ship, but apparently the cargo ship is going to appeal. They're going to use a law that was put into effect back in, I want to say, 1851 is what I want to say. I just said it. 1851, that basically said that if a ship causes damage, the idea is you cannot, what does it say? I'm losing it. Goose, talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose. Basically, a ship cannot be sued any more than what it has on its ship. That's the maximum amount you can sue. So, for example, the Titanic, when it went down, I think, when was that, 1911? Something like that, 1912? The ship could only be sued up to all the contents of what's in it. Hopefully that makes sense. You can't sue anything beyond what the ship actually has on board. That's what the Dali, or this company, I think the company is called Grace Ocean Private Ltd. Don't ask me how I remember this stuff. This is just needless information. It's just going to go. It's just going to disappear tomorrow anyway. But the idea behind it is It's a private company, so it's treated like a person. Like you can't sue anyone else but that company. So they're going to file for an appeal, which means you can't sue beyond whatever they had. Like you can't sue, like you can only repay whatever it was that was lost on the ship, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's like, where do you start? If you're the family, I would sue the police department for one. I would sue dispatch or whoever. I would sue the shipping companies there. Dally, I would sue right away. Man, the city of Baltimore, I would sue. I would hire the best lawyers and I'd go after everyone in that city on behalf of the construction crew. Because you let them down. You let them down. Horrible. Horrible. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, if you're a police officer, which is actually cool that you're on here, this feels weird, doesn't it? Like this feels weird on so many levels, and I hate being that guy that's a conspiracy guy, but man, when you start slapping a person in the face with all the stuff right in front of you, you're like, okay, hang on here. Let's just slow down a little bit. When the inspection crew showed up, no gloves, no mask, and they're looking at fluid and the news report is, oh, this is just soap. Why? Because it looks like soap to you. You don't think it's contaminants. You don't think it's dangerous to wear some kind of a biohazard suit when you see a shipwreck with containers that you don't know what's in the containers, and you're just taking pictures with your cell phone. It's very bizarre, man. Very bizarre. And this reminds me, there was a scene in The Winter Soldier. I don't know if you remember this scene. Captain America jumps out of a ship, beats the tar out of everyone. That was a fantastic scene, by the way. Fights against one of our Canadian guys, George St. Pierre. I think his name was Batroc. And he goes toe-to-toe with Captain America. Man, he did pretty good with no superpowers, I must admit. Anyways, Captain America takes him out and then goes inside the bridge, and the Black Widow's there, and she's like, this is awkward. And she's downloading the data with a key fob that's basically on the right side of the console. And she's downloading all the data from this cargo ship. That was a cargo ship that Captain America was on. And Scarlett Johansson was taking all the data from the cargo ship because she's a spy. Well, there's footage out there that they're actually doing that with the cargo ship. They just put a key fob, or I should say USB drive, thumb drive, into, and it's the same area as what you see on the Avengers, same right side, and they're taking the data from the ship. And it's like, well, how do we know that data was not compromised? You didn't secure the bridge. You didn't do anything. You didn't put any tape. You didn't quarantine the area with police. I didn't see that. I don't know. Maybe that's just something you don't do. I would have secured that whole area. And maybe you just can't see it from the news footage, from the media footage. But when the inspection crew went in, I would have had police officers watching them as they're taking pictures, and then watching them as they're taking the data from the ship. Wouldn't that have been important to the police? I don't know. Just spitballing. What part of Canada? I am from Alberta. We're kind of like a mini Texas, if you will, here. We think like Texans. We think big like Texans. Not as big as what Texans think, but we like to think we're big like Texans. But yeah, so this smells suspicious. This feels like a Malcolm Gladwell book, to be honest. I could see this guy putting this stuff together and putting this into a book. Maybe he'll call it Black Swan or something. I don't know. I carry this book. This book's always in my office here because this Baltimore thing fits the 3 criteria. Because what happens is now we're all using hindsight bias to look back at the Baltimore Bridge event. The Black Swan event is what I like to call it. And we're explaining it away, saying, oh, it was the instrumentation, oh, it was the rudder, oh, it was the power went out and the guy was tired, whatever it is. It failed a couple of inspections. This should never happen. How could this happen? Even though there were previous bridges, I think the Sunny Bridge or whatever it's called, I forget where that was, 1980 went down. And then there was another bridge. You guys have had this happen a couple of times, but 1980 is the one where a cargo ship, I forget where that one was from, where that ship was from, big ship, hit it. And part of the bridge collapsed. There was a bus on it and another vehicle, and 35 people died. Squash champ here. YouTube, that's interesting that you would say that. Squash champ. That's funny. I love squash. I love playing squash. Somebody comes on here, just random. Squash champ here. That's just a weird thing to say. Anyways, Russian hackers. Yeah, there's lots of things that are. I'm really concerned for April 8th with this solar eclipse thing. I think if I were to put on my little predictor's hat, I would say there's going to be an earthquake. Can I prove it? No, I can only go back to 1812. What happened in that same area? It's not a good place. And I'm not saying that solar eclipse itself will trigger it, but somebody could trigger it and blame it on the solar eclipse and say it was because of that. And then now you're going to get people scared and they're going to have to stay at home. And then Biden will declare martial law, and then all he has to do is renew it every once in a while, just like Zelensky. Zelensky has renewed martial law every 90 days, and they were supposed to have elections today. But when he became president, the first thing that he did was he called a snap election. He said, you have 30 days. That wasn't enough time for the 2 Russian slanted political parties that were at play. So they didn't have enough time to get their resources all together. And Zelensky won in a landslide and dissolved the 2 political parties, and then basically hired his video production company to be part of his political party, We the People, or whatever they call themselves, which was basically based on a script that he had wrote for the same, I think it was the same TV series called We the People that Zelensky wrote. And it was very popular in Ukraine. And then somebody had the idea, hey, maybe you should run for president. So he did, and we won and dissolved the parties. And now he's the major party, and now there's only one media outlet in Ukraine, meaning you can't have information coming in and out as you please. It has to be screened first. It's almost like a dictatorship. And they have martial law from, I think, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So how would you like to live under that? Media is controlled. His party is actually a part of his video production company that he owns. The name eludes me right now. Is this, who is this? I want my belt back. Is this Renee? I didn't recognize you. if that's you. I should check my phone. Did you text me? Text me if this is you. I want my belt back. That's funny. It's probably my buddy playing a joke on me right now. So, what do you guys think? Weird? It's crazy, right? Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm just trying to think what's going to happen tomorrow. Probably a press conference, another press conference by the Baltimore mayor, I believe. His name is Wes Moore. Probably another press conference. Maybe more investigations, more news on what's going on. Court's booked. I hope you have the belt. Because if I recall, you lost the belt to someone. Wasn't me. We'll have to play. We'll have to get a new belt. Meanwhile, I am doing a live stream. This is pretty important. I have my friend on here saying that he wants the belt back for squash. Side note. But yeah, I think what's going to happen tomorrow is more reports as to maybe the weakness of the bridge, more wasted time and resources on the bridge, when I think you need to hone in on the ship itself. You need to hone in on the crew. You need to get all the reports of when they logged in, when they logged out, where they came from. There's rumors that the captain was Ukrainian. Don't know. I don't want to lean that far because that would be crazy. Like, this is something that you would write in a script. Must have the ship's captain Ukrainian, then we can create conspiracies. I don't want to do that unless it's true. But that would be like, really? Seriously? Out of all the ships, you have a captain that is a Ukrainian? That would be bizarre. That's what they're saying. That's what the rumorville is saying. From Singapore, I want to say the ship is from. So yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird right now. Crazy. It is a crazy world. It's crazy. For sure. I'm just seeing if I can find. Let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, this is the footage here. So this is it's the Sunshine Skyway Bridge disaster. So let's see. Let's have a look at this here. This is actually what happened 43 years ago.
Years ago, the unthinkable happened. A freighter collided with the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, sending several cars into the bay. And this video from our archives right here, it shows the aftermath. 32 people died in the disaster. New safety procedures would be put in place and a new bridge would eventually be built. But for those who were there, they will never forget what that happened that day. And tonight, Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon shares their story.
As I left, we were having squall lines come in.
More than 4 decades ago, Emmett Dykes was heading into St. Petersburg when a noise on the Skyway Bridge stopped him in his tracks.
I heard something sound like thunder. I looked to my left, and then half the bridge had disappeared.
Just after 7:30 in the morning, the bridge had been hit by the freighter Summit Venture.
Underneath me was the Summit Venture, right up against the piling.
6 cars, a truck, and a bus fell 150 feet into Tampa Bay. On the northbound side of the bridge, Emmett and others proceeded with caution.
Well, we didn't know if our side was going to go down.
At the first phone he could find, he called his dad.
Unlike today, there were no cell phones to communicate by. Instead, the first reports came from a fishing boat with 2 WTVT, then called Pulse 13 staff members and a radio reporter.
I got on the Marine radio, did a report for my radio station. Jewel McGee was able At this early time in technology to actually get a video signal from the boat, which was pretty much unheard of at that.
Interesting that it's pretty much unheard of to get a video signal for the boat. He said it. I didn't. I thought we went to the moon, landed there. It's kind of weird, right? Don't we have technology to go to the moon, to videotape, to use film? But he's saying that we didn't have technology to be able to do something on a boat. Whatever. It's kind of bizarre. It's a weird thing to say.
With a news career spanning nearly 60 years, Roger Schulman recalls the Skyway tragedy.
This was just unthinkable that this bridge would have collapsed. A lot of people did lose their lives. We learned a lot about safety precautions.
42
Did we, though? Did we learn a lot? Kind of feels like we didn't learn anything.
years later, a new bridge stands as a testament to the Bay Area and the 35 killed.
It's keeping in the history so people understand our history of things that have happened in the area, you know, because you learn from your history.
Kimberly Quizon, Fox 13.
We learn from our history. Well, it would have been nice to place dolphins, not live dolphins, but like dolphins, like barriers in front of this Baltimore Bridge. That would have been nice. There were ways to solve it. Blessings from Ohio. Welcome, J. Pete. Prayers for now and prayers for the 8th. Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. So that's, yeah, it's let me just, yeah, it's kind of bizarre, right? Like, it's just very strange. Very strange. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find something else here. I'm trying to see if I can find where they're actually using the data, that they're actually downloading the data. So let me see if I can find it. Might not be able to. Let me see. Seeing if I can find it. Yeah, right here. This is it. I'm not going to show the whole thing. Actually, let me see if I can find. Let's see if I can find it. Just trying to find something here. Let's see if I can find. There was some footage. Yeah, here it is. No, that's not it. So here's the inspection. So I'm going to show you this footage. This is the inspectors. Yeah, like when you think about it, it was like 95,000 tons. So it's, I guess in some ways it's not a surprise that it got knocked down, but in some ways it is. It's kind of weird the way it broke with all the sparks and everything. But let's just have a look at this inspection footage here. Let's have a listen in.
He released some new video for us today that shows the point of impact on the actual ship, the Dolly, and the point where it impacted the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing the bridge collapse up there in Baltimore. We're going to be looking at that, and we're going to look at some other news about what some of the wives of the missing construction workers knew about them as well.
See, look at those containers. They have fluid leaking out, and they don't have any gloves or masks.
As some previous trouble that the Dolly was having while it was at dock. Should never have left the dock in the first place. So let's take a look at the video first. So as part of their inspection today, when they were aboard the ship, they were looking at the hazardous materials and downloading the vessel voyage data recorder. And you're going to see the video of them downloading it on the bridge. So here we are. Here on the right-hand side, you can see that's where the pillars were that the ship originally struck. And so you can see the bumpers around it were actually in pretty good shape. And I wish they would show us some better video of it. Now, he's taking pictures. He's leaning over the side of the bridge now, looking straight on down towards the bow, trying to get some pictures. And I hope they publish those pictures because I want to see close-ups of it. So here we are. Here's closer to the point of impact. And directly in front of them, you can see where the roadway from the bridge has come crashing down. And that gray metal you see there is the actual truss of the bridge. So there's debris all over the place here. And I'm looking at these barrels and I'm thinking, uh-oh, what's in those? I hope there's nothing like plutonium or something. These guys are standing right in front of it. Now, fortunately, it looks like they didn't leak. I can't really tell from this vantage point. But they're photographing everything there. They're probably going to look up the numbers on them too, to see what has dangerous materials in them. And right in the background there, you can see that gray truss from the bridge. So they're shooting. I saw one of them shooting a laser. They're either doing LiDAR or they're doing a thermal scan as a possibility. Maybe they're doing some infrared. But you can see the laser dot, he had shined it right on the surface there. And they're testing something. I don't know if they're testing humidity. That could be a humidity meter. That looks like one that I use when I'm installing wood flooring and stuff like that. So either that or they're sensing. It could be a sensor for gas leaks or something. And there's part of looks like it's a walkway of a deck or something that came separated due to the crash. It's really amazing that you can still walk around on this boat too and not really have any issues. Because when you think about how heavy that bridge was when it came collapsing down on top of it. So there's the truss there and more of these barrels. And look, that barrel is crushed, but it doesn't look like it leaked. That's pretty amazing there if it is. I'm pretty lucky. I mean, we don't know what was in there. Could have been vegetable oil for all we know. I know there was concern about were there lithium batteries or stuff like that in any of the containers. There was supposed to be somewhere around 58 or so containers that have hazardous materials in them. They only show us a lot of kind of wasted video here that's not really giving us a lot of information. But here they're going around the stacks of all of the containers and they're getting pictures of them. And they see those numbers like that 1993 there. They'll look that up on the, what do they call it? The MSCS. I forget. It's those data sheets that tell you how dangerous the materials are inside there. It's very important for them to be able to identify it. And there is a shot they took looking down one of the walkways, and you can see a couple of fallen containers there. So now they're headed on upstairs, probably to the bridge at this point. And once they get in the bridge, we're going to see them pulling the data from the voyage data recorder. That's the equivalent, so to speak, of what they use on the airplanes. It doesn't give you as much data as you would get on the cockpit flight recorders and stuff like that, but it does have some kind of general basic data that is collected.
Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the data collection here real quick. Let's see if I can find it here. Right here. Look at this. Watch this.
Event video there. Now the guys are probably going through communication logs right there, or setting up to take the data out of the voice data recorder, which is located on the other side of the bridge.
All right, that's kind of bizarre, right? Doesn't that look kind of weird or no? Okay. So tell me this scene right here.
So we're going to see when they walk over to the console on the other side of the bridge, how they're going to get the data out of there. And you do it, you extract it out of the Voyage data recorder with a thumbnail drive. Again, they're just showing much of nothing, and when they could be showing us a lot more detail. So here they are now. They're walking over to the console, and this console on the right is where...
Hey, remember this. Watch this.
It is. You'll see him plugging it in right there. And if you look closely when they zoom in, you should be able to see the little tag above it says something.
Where have I seen this before? I think I seen it here in this scene. Look at this. Watch this. Oh, takes out our Canadian boy. Batroc.
Oh, this is awkward.
Oh, look at this. Look what she's doing. She's downloading data from a cargo ship.
What are you doing?
Backing up the hard drive. It's a good habit to get into.
Rumlow needed your help. What the hell are you doing here? You're saving SHIELD intel.
Whatever I can get my hands on.
Our mission is to rescue hostages.
No, that's your mission.
Thumb drive.
And you've done it beautifully.
Thumb drive. Crazy, right? Then we go back to here.
Think about, yeah, see, VDR operation alarm panel. So right there is where they're extracting this data out of the Voyage data recorder. This is the all-important data that everybody's been asking for.
I don't know, it just seems weird. Weird. Anyways. It's kind of weird that you have a movie like Winter Soldier, which ends up being later we have Civil War. All these little types and shadows, of course, in movies. Hollywood's been known to do this forever. But I remember when I was watching this inspection team grabbing the data, I'm like, where did I see that? Oh, yeah, that was in Captain America Winter Soldier. Same kind of thing. It was a cargo ship. Crazy, right? All right, so let's see what we got going on here, and then I might call it a night. But let's just see what's JP have to say. Does anyone know of any scripture to support the eclipse turning into 3 days of darkness? None other than, don't know if it was 3 days of darkness, but I know there's for sure darkness over the land when Jesus was on the cross. I'm just trying to think of 3 days of darkness anywhere. I think of Joshua when they asked the sun to stand still for a day. King Hezekiah that basically asked that the sun go back, like the shadow go back 10 degrees. I'm just trying to think offhand. If I don't think offhand 3 days of darkness. The only thing that like Revelation talks about is a third of the sun losing a third of its light, and the moon losing a third of its light as well, which almost feels like you lose a third of the day because of that. But as to that, I don't think so. I don't recall offhand anything like that for 3 days. And then, of course, Egypt when they had darkness. I don't think it was 3 days. It was just one day in Egypt. Total darkness. They couldn't even see. They couldn't even move. That's how dark it was. Everybody was told to stay put in their house. That's how dark it was in Egypt. Can you imagine that? It's crazy. Anyways, anything else? Anything else regarding this Baltimore ship that I've haven't uncovered yet? Lots of stuff, right? And again, I don't really watch a ton of news, but when I watch something, I look at it from every angle. And this is something that's kind of perked my interest in Baltimore. I've never been there. Used to live in Minnesota for a year. Been to Florida, been to North Dakota, South Dakota, California, Seattle. I'm sure a few other states, but oh yeah, Louisiana, no, St. Louis, Missouri. I was in the city of St. Louis. I went into the Arch, which is interesting. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a solar eclipse watch in front of that arch somewhere, because I think you can actually see the sun go inside the arch, so it kind of looks like an eye, and I'll see an eye inside the arch, the gateway to the west. Or is it the gateway to the east? It's the gateway to the west. Kind of interesting, right? I've been inside there. That thing is terrifying inside. So you feel so claustrophobic. You go in a little tiny, was it like a 4-man elevator that you sit in, and you just go up, and then you go down. Crazy, right? Anyways, that's it for tonight's video. Hope you got something out of this. Hope it was somewhat entertaining. I like tossing in a few Captain America clips here, but it's just kind of interesting that they're taking data, and it just reminded me of what was going on in one of the Marvel Comics movies. And I don't know. It's just kind of suspicious. It's very suspicious what's going on in Baltimore. I could be wrong. But yeah, stay tuned. I'll probably make a video on this tomorrow. So hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.